Okay, folks, let's call the regular meeting of the Park Board to order Monday, June 15, 2026 at 6 o'clock p.m. At this time, I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're missing two members, Trevor and Dave, but we still have a quorum. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 18th, 2026
Motion to
Park
approve
Board
the
meeting.
minutes.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion or changes that need to be made? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Present communications. I've got quite a few things here, about 3 or 4 things. One of them, first off, congratulations to the staff. And Kaylee did a wonderful job with Carrie Nation Days, just incredible. Heard nothing but great news about it, and just a fantastic event. So very good. Congratulations. I want to thank Adriana Hall and Jennifer Gardner. They are no longer on the Park Board. Both of them had gave us at least 6 years on the Park Board. Jennifer was our financial chair. And next meeting, just so the new people, so you understand, is we have 3 officers. There's president, vice president, and financial chair. The finance director there, we only do this on odd number years. So this is a little different because it's 2026, not an odd year. But since Jennifer's gone, we're going to need a new finance director here on the board. So at the next meeting, I'm going to ask that we give nominations. You can nominate yourself if you want to. But we need a nomination, someone to step up to be financial chair. And so we'll vote on that next meeting. And if you have any questions about it, let us know. There's, just so you know, there's 4 different committees. There's a finance committee, a personnel committee, a building and grounds committee, and a recreation committee. Those are the 4 different committees we have. Usually in June, we will swap people around, move people, on different committees. But the big one right now, next meeting, we're going to have that financial chair filled. So anyone interested, just let me know and make a recommendation, nomination, I should say, for the next meeting. And I certainly want to thank 2 new board members, Justin Remington and Kurt Randolph. Well, Rudolph. Oh, Rudolph. I can't read. So thank you for applying and being on the Park Board. We appreciate it. We have no personal appearances. We'll move on to Councilman Liaison Report and Alex.
Good evening. I have just a couple quick things I thought I'd share with you all. Quick reminder, City Hall will be closed on Friday, June 19th. And in terms of City Council, some of the things we've been working on at City Council, something that I think is worth mentioning is Wilbur Parish, which is a relatively short road ending in a cul-de-sac, mainly comprising of businesses. That does have a new no parking area in the cul-de-sac and also at towards the front of the street, or the end of the street, if you will. So just want to, point that out and share that if anyone frequents or uses that area. Carrie Nation Days, great job to everyone that made that happen. I know a lot of work, goes into this from staff, but there's a lot of people that put in extra hours in general. And just want to say it was fantastic. It gets better every year, and that I mean that truly. I know at this point I'm starting to sound like a repeating broken record here, but. It was really good, and I think every single council member mentioned that they really enjoyed it and it went swell. So I want to give that point out. And then, just want to say I thank you to thank you to the board and the past members, as well as our 2 new members, Justin and Kurt. I know it's a volunteer position, and it sometimes can take you away from other responsibilities you may have in your life, but it is really noble and important. So we appreciate you being here. And then, yeah, if there's any questions.
Any questions for Alex? Thank you, Alex. City Manager Communications, Joe had stated that he would not be here this evening, so we'll pass that up. We'll move right on to Parks and Recreation Department reports, Director's report. Kevin?
Well, I'd like to reiterate, welcome, Kurt, Justin. Look forward to working with you. As you can see, we continue to grow at High Blue. I think we're a positive 22 new members this month, so I can't remember the last time we had a negative number for membership in a month, so that's continuing to grow, and we're excited about that. Also, I would like to thank Patty for helping out with the tractor pull. She had a good time. It's fun. And Terry there for the support, so we do appreciate that. And I think Mark was there. I've seen you there. And I'd also like to thank Kaylee and her team for what a wonderful job that they do. And as well as Annette and the maintenance team and Annette's team for the mud run. There's a lot of prep that goes into that mud run and then a lot of deconstruction that goes into that mud run. So, well done. And then the other things I have is just quick updates. Be checking your emails. You should be soon, you'll be receiving a survey from SFS and Ballard and King on the feasibility study for the field house. And I may, Kurt, Justin, we probably need to get caught up on kind of that. So I will reach out to you for a meeting at some point. Same with Dryden Phase 1 update. We have started design phase for Phase 1 at Dryden, which again will consist of walking trails, about 3,500 feet of 10-foot walking trail, 2 pedestrian bridges to connect the existing, and then infrastructure. So you may receive an email from Clark and Anderson on that, just to get your kind of some feedback from you guys. And then Cleveland Lake restroom update. I believe we have one more pour around the restroom, and then I'll get into the parking lot a little bit later, but we do have some boring work that needs to be done for the water line to go under the road, and as well as power. So I don't know where we're at on that, Nick. Is there an update on the power?
Evergy's just scheduling that out with their bore company.
Kevin, I know this is kind of a crazy question, but why wouldn't we put the water line in before we pour the concrete? Are you talking about the road? Is that what you're talking about? Or
Yeah, all the lines are in under the
Okay.
bathroom. Yeah, we have them stubbed out to the easement out by the road.
Okay.
So everything's ready to go. We're waiting on the boring. It just seems that it's hard to get them scheduled this time of year and get somebody out there. So we have actually reached out to several boring companies. So
Great. Any questions for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. We'll move on to department managers' reports. And in the packet, there was some notes on aquatics that Shannon had put in there. She's here to answer any questions you may have. Anything you need to highlight, Shannon? Hearing none, we'll move on to High Blue. Annette's here if you have any questions. Anything you need to highlight there, Annette, that you know of? Okay. I did see that the equipment finally arrived. Is that the deal?
Part of it did last week, 2 weeks ago, but the rest of it's arriving on Thursday.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Annette? Thank you, Annette. Marketing, Vanda's here to answer any questions. Anything you need to highlight, Vanda?
Kaylee wants to highlight anything on the special events. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the compliments and the attendance for Carrie Nation Days. We got super lucky with weather, and I think it all turned out really well. So we're just looking to grow and start new things with that too. So thank you.
And the only thing I was going to point out is it says tomorrow, change after this was written, but the new marketing specialist started today. So I'm excited about that. So maybe I can bring her to or invite her to a future meeting.
That'd be great.
So she's excited. She's a UMKC marketing and graphic arts grad
Oh, fantastic.
and a Belton resident. So,
Even better.
yep.
Any other questions on marketing? Thank you, Vanda. Parks and facilities, Nick's here if you have any questions on that. Nick, anything you want to highlight? No? Good. Hearing none, moving on. Recreation, Joaquin's here if you have any questions or comments. Joaquin, anything you need to highlight? No? Good. It's kind of hard to believe. I was reading there, I was shocked that we only have 1 month left of summer ball. That kind of surprised me. It's time's flying before you realize it. So, and I think it did state in there that the fall signups will be coming up soon. How was our numbers this year, Joaquin, on as far as the spring sports or the summer sports?
I think they've been pretty steady the last couple of years. We saw a pretty big incline about 3 years ago, and I feel like it's kind of leveled off. But like we've talked about before, a lot of other organizations coming into the area and a lot of kids doing competitive ball and things like that.
Sure. Any other questions for recreation?
I will just ask, we had talked at one point in time about adult team sports and recreation. I'm just wondering, it seemed, if I remember correctly, there was a coalition of several of the communities around here. Maybe you guys were exploring expanding, but I just wondered if there was any change in.
Jared is the one that goes to those meetings with the South Metro. If they've had those conversations, I haven't heard about them. I know we have an intern right now, a recreation intern, working with us this summer, and his project that he's working on is doing an adult pickleball tournament for later in the summer. So,
Any other questions for recreation? Thanks, Joaquin. Standing, we'll move on to standing committees and finance. In your packet, you'll see the financials. I'm glad to see that the sales tax has snapped back a little bit. We gained more than half of it back. I know we were a negative number last month, which I think was just reporting, I believe we discussed on. Financials all look good. Any questions on the finance?
Probably should know this, but why is there such a negative number on Park General? Was that the playground?
Where are you looking at on the red page?
Expenditures, says it's 926,000 in the red.
Oh, yes, we've just spent more than we did last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just because of the playground?
Playground, yeah, was a
And the
big
money
part of it.
came in somewhere else a couple months ago and? All right.
Yeah.
Any other questions on finance? Moving on, recreation. Did you guys meet at all? Okay. Building grounds did not meet, and I know, speaking for Dave at personnel, they did not meet as well. Moving on to new business. Motion approving resolution number 2026-026, a resolution approving a contract for the removal and replacement of fitness area flooring at High Blue between the Belton Parks and Recreation Department and Sport Pro Surfacing LLC.
Present.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Any questions?
I just wanted to ask, I know there was just one bid that was submitted.
Correct.
I was just curious, and it, I think, read that it was through June, and, we're just at the 15th of June. I'm just curious how long you keep those open, like, for posting, and where, I know they're posting on the official page.
Website.
But,
Yep.
are they being marketed outside of that?
So we post them on the city's website, the park's website, and then we do send them out and would solicit bids from flooring companies. Yeah, we actually email them and try to get them to respond.
Okay.
And we only had one respond to the pre-bid meeting, which it's a mandatory pre-bid meeting. So you do have to show up to that pre-bid meeting to be able to bid on this project. So
And how much time are they given from when you send those out to when they need to turn that in or be available
It's
for the
2
pre-bid meeting?
weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep.
Okay.
And the pre-bid meeting, is that just normal business hours when you have that?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah. Usually it's between 11 and 2 during the middle of the day. Yep.
Any other questions, discussion?
Only comment I would have is for the two new people that are here tonight, that we did talk about these at our last meeting coming up, so it's not something, we don't have a lot of questions because we did talk about it last meeting, so.
And it's really important also, especially the new ones, that you go through your packet prior to getting here, because that has a lot of the information. For example, the cost of this contract that we're about ready to approve. That's all in the paperwork as well, so just make sure you follow up. And what I do is I just kind of jot down my questions as I'm going through the packet, and then when we get here, you can ask those questions if needed.
And two, if we feel like this bid is high or something that we can reject any and all bids, but we feel that this was a fair bid for this project.
Any other questions? Comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion approving resolution number 2026-027, a resolution approving a contract for the design build of the new play area at Markey Park between the Belton Parks and Recreation Department and Next Generation Recreation.
Present.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussions? Questions? This is a budgeted amount, by the way, in case anybody was wondering if you hadn't looked in your packet.
I was curious about that. It's budgeted in the 2027 budget, is that correct? I think
Yes.
that's what I
Yes.
read, yeah. So how does that work? Do the contractors agree to not bill until 2027, or
No,
Just-
our budget that we're currently in is FY '27.
it is 27 now? Oh, okay, thank you.
With, just real quick, with the way in which the budget process works, and for the city, which is very maybe unusual from what you may be used to in the corporate setting, is we're April to April, essentially the election cycle, right? So because we'll be ending in 27, this is currently the fiscal year 27, even though it's obviously not 27 yet, so.
It will be.
And I did speak with Kevin. You said you had reached out. Last meeting, I had inquired about essentially some price comparisons. And you said that you had reached out to another company.
Yes, and they had passed me on to another company because they could not supply the equipment that we spec'd, and then it just went down a rabbit hole from there. So it is hard to find somebody that, we have some equipment that we like. Now, you may be able to get something that's like it, but, that's the specific equipment that we like and that we want in the park, so.
At what point do you seek public input for something such as a playground?
A lot of the guidelines were set forth when we did the grant. A lot of that was set by the grant, the LWCF, for all of the guidelines and design. And then we could kind of pick out the equipment that we wanted, but kind of those specs were met according to what they had. I have seen some feedback on Facebook about, the parks and park design. I can see in the future where maybe we, open that up, something that's not a grant project, and open that up for the public to, put their input on. So I know we did that with Memorial Park years ago. I think there was some input on that one, so. Alex.
Sorry to keep tag teaming in here. Also, in fairness to that answer, the comprehensive plan that the park, or master plan, or whatever it was called, that the parks just went through, it did inquire a lot of public input, and including different design for the various parks. Now, I don't know if this one specifically was in there and whatever, I don't recall. But anyways, there was a lot of public input through the master plan, so that I know is.
I think this one, because I did just look at it from 2024, that master plan, I believe. And
I think it was actually 25.
oh, did it?
Till it was
Okay,
approved.
okay.
Yeah.
And I think it in the master plan, it had a nature play penciled in. I believe, if that was correct. But the elements are very similar in that they're just climbing structures.
I don't think
It
we
didn't
had
have the-
nature play in there. Maybe out at Dryden, maybe there was some nature play in one of the drawings.
Yeah, I think it was right next to the ball field, but I think it was a different location than what you guys were looking at now.
Okay.
At least from what I had seen. But I was just curious, when you guys looked at what elements you wanted to have, I would just like to see maybe some more attention paid to inclusivity, for inclusion, because I know that came up in the master plan as well. It was, I think, one of like the medium interest or medium concern, but that's just something to look at, especially for a playground north of 200,000. And being individual elements, it would be easy to include one of the elements being a very inclusive piece.
Which in this case for Wallace, it was defined by the grant.
Yes.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, it might be in the packet, I didn't quite see it. I assume this is the pieces you're talking about doing and then also the wage to put it in? Or is this only the equipment?
No, this is material and labor.
The prevailing wage?
Yeah, anything over $75,000 is
Just want to make
prevailing
sure
wage.
that was
Yep.
prevailing wage, okay.
Yep. And there is a new wage order, so it's 33 now. So, didn't go up.
Yep.
Actually, one quick question. Can you just clarify the grant side of it? I wasn't part of the board when the grant part. So there was a lot that's being dictated by the grant, and did the grant dictate what we installed, or did we propose to the grant and we just have to follow through with what we proposed?
Well, it set some parameters that it is all-inclusive, and it
Yeah.
passed all those inspections as being all-inclusive.
Yeah.
Now, that may be, interpreted by somebody else
Yeah.
differently than what, I mean, any age kid can play on that playground. So there is things for all ages to do. It's not just 2 to 5 and 5 to 12, but there are equipment that is 5 to 12, with the big tall equipment is 5 to 12, and the smaller is 2 to 5, and then there's other things for them to do, down low on that 2 to 5 piece of equipment.
And you're talking about for the new playground?
At Wallace is what I'm referring to.
Okay,
The new,
okay.
yes, the new one
Oh.
at Wallace. You mean
I'm talking about the one at Markey.
Markey? Markey is, okay.
I'm sorry.
Aren't we? We're talking about Markey here.
Yeah, okay.
You're right, you're right.
So Marquee is not even, I wouldn't consider it a playground. It's a play area. It's
Yeah.
more climbers. It's just more something to give the kids something to do besides tear our trees up and throw rocks around.
Yep.
So that was the goal of that. Again, anybody will be able to utilize and crawl on the little steppers and the little balance beams and all that's out there. So,
My understanding too was that this is resolving another issue of an area that was just becoming muddy and problematic. right?
yes,
That we would
yes.
cover
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
'Cause
It was initially designed to be like a rain garden.
Yeah.
But it's just not the right place for a rain garden right outside the concession stand area.
I also want to follow up on what Mark's saying, though, in terms of like Wallace and in general. So thinking about how we're defining inclusive, so inclusive in different ages, I think that's one way of defining it. And then, another way of defining it is inclusive in terms of different abilities and disabilities.
Right.
And so I think with Wallace, we were intentional with the type of ground, that was put in and those kinds of things. But just thinking about wheelchair accessibility, and I think even there's one level of meeting ADA compliance, and that's a really low bar as far as inclusivity goes. And then there's, another level of actual, impractical use being a valuable space for all, individuals. So anyhow, I just want to make sure that when we're using terms like inclusive, we're clear about what we mean by that. And so when we're getting bids and doing these things, that we're clear on those fronts too, about how we're defining some of the terms we're using.
Okay.
So just to clarify, sorry, because we were a little confused on the parks. The one at Markey was not dictated or determined by a grant, right?
No,
Is that
it was
correct?
not.
It was not.
Because I think you guys said that your staff just identified the pieces that they wanted.
Yes.
And they identified them from Create Play, or did they look at?
We just kind of
a
looked
lot
at
of different
pictures
companies?
online and
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
found what we liked, and that's what we went with.
Okay.
So, and it's not a playground. I mean, the playground is, you know, that's a whole nother story where it's at out there. It needs to be somewhere else, but
Also clarify, there is no grant. This is all being funded by our tax dollars.
correct.
Right.
Any other,
And we're all talking about the same program here.
And
right?
again, I think the understanding was part of the purpose for this was increasing safety, because what was happening with the rain garden as it was, is it was really becoming an unsafe
Correct. Yeah.
space for kids. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to items for review and discussion. First is Cleveland Lake parking lot update. Kevin?
All right, so initially, I come to you guys and I was going to try to bid out the parking lot and have it, a proposal ready for you guys at this meeting. I was waiting on some geotech information to finish that, you know, the bid packet, so I could have all that information to put out to bid, and I did not get that in time. So I do have that probably 99% ready to put out to bid now. So I do plan on bringing that forward at the next park board meeting, if I can get people to bid on it. So, and projects like these, I mean, I'm going to make sure that we get more than one bid for sure. And I'm sure we will.
Any questions on Cleveland Lake parking?
I know we talked last meeting about jumping in with the city, see if they had any projects, and I thought Joe actually said we had some projects that we could probably attach to. I don't know if you talked to them or Rocos or anything like that about projects.
I did. That's where I kind of got the idea of, you know, getting some more information for doing the cement treated base instead of doing a different. So that's why I was waiting on the geotech stuff. So they just mix in like Portland or fly ash into the existing ground, and it's much more stable than type 5 or AB3. So during those conversations, I think like Superior Bowen is who we have a contract with that does all the city's asphalt. They're more on the road side. They don't really do a lot of parking lots. So he suggested I put it out to bid.
Parking lots different like asphalt, or is it just,
Well, doing full construction parking lots, they're doing more of the mill and overlay,
okay.
not full depth.
Any other questions on Cleveland Lake? Family Nature Wellness Program. Vanda?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up. We had been approached by a gentleman wanting to do a, what does he call it? A family nature mindfulness program. And he, I mean, I guess he could do that on his own without even coming to us if it's just a free thing. But I met with him, and we want that to be something we control, that we have some control over it. So just be looking for a program coming up. It'll be at Cleveland. It would be free, and it's just going to be an opportunity for families to come out, and this gentleman and his partner, wife, would do this mindfulness, trying to get people back to nature, and it's about a 90-minute program. If it all goes well, then I think Kevin and I have talked about reaching out and making it a program, like a 4-week program. But it would be run through the parks. It would just be managed by this gentleman.
So the initial would just be one event, and then if it goes well, it may go into a program.
I mean, I think that's, because we don't know if Belton is going to be accepting. I think they will, but instead of getting, locked into whether he's an employee or a contract, we want to see what the community thinks of the idea first.
Good idea.
Free event?
Yeah.
It would be a free event at this point. If it became a program, I think we'd be open to discussing that.
Is this a local Belton resident?
Yes.
That brought you?
And he's done this in other places, and I've talked to someone that he ran this program for, and they spoke very highly of him and the program. So.
Great.
Yeah, I like that. That just came up. I was reading through, once again, I was looking at the playgrounds in the the report from 25 or whatever. And there was a lot of interest in nature programming. So I think this is an easy one to incorporate. So thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments, discussion? Thank you, Vanda. Pickleball court and skate park lighting update, Kevin?
Okay. So at the next park board meeting, I would hope to propose a proposal for lighting of the pickleball courts. And I'm going to try to add the skate park on there. Being that we're going to something sustainable without using electricity, that significantly cuts the costs of the light poles and installation. So for what we could do, just the pickleball courts, I can do both pickleball and skate park and have them lit. So it would be solar lighting, and they've come a long way in solar lighting. One of the recommendations I'll have is that it needs to meet, for pickleball, the lighting requirements, for all sports. And it does have motion detection, so they will run at like 30% until it senses motion on the pickleball courts, and then they'll go up to 100%. Unfortunately, you cannot do that on the skate park, as if somebody's out there and maybe not moving, and then they decide to do a kick flip or something. They don't want the lights, going off in the middle of a kick flip or something like that. So, but that is something that I hope to bring before you guys next board meeting. Like I said, there's battery storage is inside the light poles, and it's just a light with a solar panel on it. And I think it would take 4 of them to do the pickleball courts, is what I've seen. So they
must be
solar
powerful
lighting
lights.
has come a long way in the past few years. But when I put it out to bid, that'll be determined, how many lights, the warranties. I'll find out all the warranties on the batteries and stuff like that.
So there'll be a timer on it?
You will be able to turn them off and on with your phone, with a cell phone. But yes, they'll be set to shut off at
So
11
you can shut
p.m.
it off,
Yeah.
yeah.
So really, they'll only run, maybe 8 to 11 most nights, and then when you get in the winter and spring, they'll run a little longer. So that's just something that I'm looking at. So
I know in Raymore, I'm not saying this for the pickleball courts per se as much as I am saying about the skating area, but in Raymore, they have to go turn them on and turn them off if they want to use the courts over there. But if you talk about our pickleball court's going to have a motion detector, then that would alleviate that, where I just didn't know if we had something where they're not always on at the skating park unless somebody's actually using it. But they're solar, it doesn't cost us anything, right? Okay.
Yeah. And they said they couldn't do that with the skate park. They have to be on all the time.
Okay.
So
And you're only looking at doing the solar power along with purchasing the batteries for solar storage, right? And not,
they come with it, with the system. They're in the pole. All the batteries are
okay.
inside the pole.
okay,
So
okay. I know we don't have a battery yet on our solar power, but that's another expense for later.
And 4 of those you think will light up the pickleball court?
we'll see. I mean, in some engineering, I've seen that 4 could possibly do it, but they may need 6. But
Yeah.
that'll be when I bid it out. We'll go through that process to see how many we need.
Very good. Any questions, comments, discussion on the pickleball court and skate park lighting? Thank you, Kevin. Announcements. Justin, you have anything, announcements? Dave? Mark?
I do. Yeah. I think everyone's kind of seen some of the dysfunction around the city in terms of just events and really just recreational opportunities across the city. It's just disheartening to see different organizations not working together. And I just feel like the Parks and Rec would be a great organization or entity to kind of forge those relationships between a lot of like-minded people that for some reason just aren't working together across the city. We have a lot going well for the city, a lot of passionate people, and right now it just seems like people are working in silos, and I would love for us to potentially be the one that can unite some of those different organizations. So thank you.
Patty?
I don't have anything.
I do. I'm sure many of you heard about the plane crash in Butler yesterday, and part of the skydiving community, I lost quite a few good friends there, and I just wanted to hope that and plea for all of you to think about, pray for, whatever format of lifting people up that you do, to keep all those families and friends in mind, because this is a big hit for the families of the individuals who passed away, but the community as a whole.
Thank you for mentioning that. Kurt, do you have anything? Make a motion that we adjourn at 6:35.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.